Hello, this is College Drive doing some Algebra 2. Today we're going to be looking at arithmetic sequences in series. An arithmetic sequence contains two properties here. It's a sequence where the difference between consecutive terms is constant. And the next term is found by adding a constant to the previous term. So for example, we have 1, 3, 5, 7. The difference here between 1 and 3 is positive 2. Difference between 5 and 3 is 2. And 7 and 5 is 2. We're adding 2 each time. So I would call that common difference D. So tell whether the sequence is arithmetic or not. If so, determine the common difference. So let's look at the differences here. 32 and 27, we're going down by 5. And then we're going down by 6. So this is not arithmetic, because that would be the same. They would be going down by 5 each time, or going down by 6 each time. It's going down by the same number or up. Part B, this is minus 8, minus 8, minus 8. So this one is arithmetic. And our common difference is minus 8. Okay. And for anything that fits into this arithmetic sequence, anything like it, or anything that is an arithmetic sequence, follows this rule. And this is something you need to memorize. It makes it every time you run into these, it's a lot easier to figure out this equation here. So this is the rule given for any arithmetic sequence. You take your first term, plus n minus 1 times your common difference, d. And this will tell you any term in the arithmetic sequence. So if I wanted to find the fifth term, I would plug in n equals 5. Alright, let's do some of these. So write a rule for the nth term of the sequence given the information, then find a sub 20. Okay, so first off, we need to make sure that these are arithmetic. So we need to find the common difference. Difference between 2 and 9 is plus 7. 9 and 16 plus 7. 16 to 23 is plus 7. Okay, so we know it's arithmetic, so we can write our formula. A sub n equals the first term. Okay, so let me rewrite the formula here. A sub n equals a1 plus n minus 1 times d. Let's just make sure. Yeah. Okay, so this is a sub n. A sub 1 is our first term, which is 2, plus n minus 1 times d, which is 7. Okay, and then we clean it up a little bit. A sub n equals 2, distribute the 7, so plus 7n minus 7. So my rule is 7n minus 5. So this is my rule. Okay. Now, I want to find a20. So a sub 20 is 7 times 20 minus 5, which is 140 minus 5, which is 135. So that's what the 20th term would be. Okay, part B, we're doing plus 6, plus 6, plus 6, we're good. So my D value is positive 6. My first term, or a sub 1, is negative 15. So let's plug it into our equation. A sub n equals negative 15 plus n minus 1 times D, which is 6. Distribute the 6, and we'll get negative 15 plus 6n minus 6. So we'll get 6n minus 21 is our rule. Okay, now we're going to plug in a sub 20. We're plugging in 20, so 6 times 20 minus 21. 120 minus 21. And that'll give us 99. Arithmetic sequence. So they tell us that A11 is 41 and D is 5. Okay. So if we wanted to write a rule for this, okay, we would use A sub 11 equals A1 plus 11 minus 1 times 5. Just plugging in the stuff that we do have. Okay, a sub 11 is 41. Okay, equals a1 plus 10 times 5, which is 50. Subtract 50 over, and we'll get negative 9 equals a1. So if I wanted to write a rule, this would be a sub n equals negative 9 plus n minus 1 times d, which is 5. So a sub n equals negative 9 plus 5n minus 5. So this is a sub n equals 5n minus 14. And this is an easy graph, right? We start at negative 14, and then you go up 5 over 1, up 5 over 1, up 5 over 1, whatever that happens to look like. Actually, it would look more like, this would be 9, then 4, then 1. It would look something like that. Start at 0, negative 14. This would be 0 or 1, negative 9. 2, negative 4. 3, 1. Just be a line. Y equals mx plus b. Arithmetic mean is the term between any two terms of an arithmetic sequence. So basically you add the terms and then divide by 2. And that'll give you the number in the middle. So for example, find the missing terms of the arithmetic sequence. So if we want to find the middle term between 7 and 23, would we add them up and divide by 2? So we get 30 divided by 2 and 15. So the number in the middle is 15. All right, and then we can do it again. I want to find the middle between 7 and 15. So we add them together and divide by 2. We get 11. Okay, and then now I can notice that everything is being added by 4, plus 4, plus 4, plus 4, plus 4. Alright, let's see, back to here. Find the number of terms in the arithmetic sequence 7, 10, 13, blah, 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 blah. ... 55. Now I could count all this. This is the first term, second term, third term. And I know that this is adding 3 each time. So the fourth term would be 16. The fifth term would be 19. And you could do all this and add them all up until you get to 55. And that will tell you how many terms there are. But I can do the formula. Because we have our first term, which is 7. And our common difference is 3. So my formula is a sub n equals 7 plus n minus 1 times d, which is 3. Okay, we want to know how many terms there are, because it stops at 55. So I have 7 plus 3, n minus 3. So 55 is equal to 3n minus 4. Add 4 over. We get 59 equals 3n. Did I do that right? Oh, 3n plus 4. So that would be 51. So n would be 17. So there are 17 terms. Okay, write a rule for the nth term of the arithmetic sequence given 2 terms in the sequence. So they don't give us the first term, they give us 2 different terms. Okay. So how do we solve these? Well, it's a little bit harder because we have a sub 6, and that gives us one equation here. a1 plus 6 minus 1 times d. So if I clean that up a little bit, a sub 6 would be a sub 1 plus 6d minus d. Or, sorry, 6 minus 1, which is 5d. Oh, that's 6 of 6. That's a of 6. Okay, and now I'm going to use a different color. A sub 22 is equal to a1 plus 22 minus 1 times d. So this is a sub 1 plus 21d. Okay. Now I'm going to put this formula on top of each other. a1 plus 21d. Okay. What does that remind you of? Hopefully it reminds you of 2 variables and 2 equations. So this is a system of equations. And I'm just going to go ahead and subtract the equations together. So my a1's drop out, and I'm left with... Oh, sorry. So this looks like a system of equations. and I forgot to put yeah, this one, a sub 6 is 7. And then for the blue equation, I knew I was missing something. This is a sub 22 is 87. There we go. Now we have our two equations. Two unknowns, two equations. Now we can combine our equations by subtracting. So a1 minus a1 is, that drops off. 5d minus 21d is negative 16 d. And then 7 minus 87 is negative 80. Divide by both sides. D equals D equals 5. Let me make sure. Negative 80 divided by 5, or 16. Yep, 5. Okay, so now that I know what D is, I can find A1. I'm going to go ahead and plug it into this equation. So A1 plus 5 times 5 equals 7. A sub 1 plus 25 equals 7. So a sub 1 is negative 18. Okay, so now we can write our formula. A sub n equals negative 18 plus n minus 1 times 5. Negative 18 equals 5n, or plus 5n minus 5. So my rule is 5n minus 23. An arithmetic series is a series with a common difference. This is an expression formed by adding terms in an arithmetic sequence. And we call it S sub n. The sum of a finite arithmetic sequence, or series, is this. It is the average of the first nth terms of a sequence multiplied by how many terms there are. And this is just another memorized formula. Find the sum. Okay. So we first need to find the first term, because we need, so we have a lot of variables in there. With n, we have a sub 1 and a sub n. Okay, so we need to find the first term. First term is just 77 minus 4 times 1, which is 77 minus 4, which is 73. A sub n, which is our last term, a sub 18, which is 77 minus 4 times 18. So this is 77 minus 72, which equals 5. Okay, now we can use the formula. S sub n equals 18 times A1, which is 73. A sub n is, or A sub 18 is 5, and then divided by 2. So this is 18 times the quantity, 78 divided by 2. So this is 18 times 39, which is 702. A theater has 60 seats in the first row, 68 seats in the second row, 76 seats in the third row, and so on in the same increasing pattern. If the theater has 20 rows, how many seats are in the theater? So we can tell our ticket guy how many tickets they can print out. So we have 60, 68, 76. We need to find D. Oh. Find D. Well, that's 8, right? D equals 8. Difference is 8. Okay, now we're going to write a rule. We have a sub n equals a sub 1 plus n minus 1 times d. Move it up here. And that'll give us a sub 1, which is 60, plus n minus 1 times d, which is 8. So my rule is 60 plus 8n minus 8, which is 8n minus 50, or plus 52. And now we need to find a sub 20. Which is 8 times 20 plus 52, which is 160 plus 52, which is 212. Okay, now that I have my first number, my first term, and my last term, I can now do the sum. So that's the formula. S sub n equals A1 plus n times the quantity A1 plus A sub n, the first term, plus the last term, divided by how many? Divided by 2, right? Okay, so S of n equals number of rows, 20, times the first term, number of seats in the first row, number of seats in the last row, divided by 2. So this is 20 times 272 divided by 2, or 2, yeah, 272 divided by 2, that divides into 136. So 20 times 136 is 2,720 seats in that theater. Hopefully this helped you out. Have a good day.